My name is Robin Wong and this is the Olympus M.Zuiko 17 F1.2 Pro. I want to share my experience using this lens and I want to talk about the reasons why you should consider having this lens in your arsenal. Let's get right into it. The Olympus 17 F1.2 has a large aperture opening of f1.2 and this is in the Pro lineup of Olympus lenses. Therefore, the build quality is excellent, it is made of metal, it feels really reassuring in hand, and the lens, being a Pro grade lens, is fully weather sealed against dust, splash and freeze. Some people are hesitant when it comes to the f1.2 Pro prime lenses from Olympus because these lenses are larger, heavier and more expensive than the f1.8 counterparts. It has been an ongoing debate and a lot of people are questioning whether it is worth spending so much more just for the f1.2 opening, and the lenses are being much larger and is losing its place in the micro four thirds system where it champions all cameras and lenses being compact and light. Well, first of all, let me be clear, I'm not here to defend Olympus, I'm not here to take any sides of the arguments, I'm really here to give my opinion and my take on this subject matter. Olympus claims that with this lens, they have successfully achieved the perfect balance in between sharpness, high resolution, and having that creamy smooth bokeh. Personally, I think that this 17 f1.2 Pro is the best among all the f1.2 Pro lenses from Olympus, and I'm going to share with you the reasons why in this video. But first, let's take a look at some photographs that I've taken with this lens. Here are the reasons why you should get the Olympus 17 f1.2 Pro. Reason number one, you are a 35mm shooter. 35mm is a popular focal length for a lot of photography genres. It is highly popular among street and documentary photographers. Classic photojournalism from a lot of popular photographers have used and they have spoken very highly on how versatile and how effective the 35mm lens can be. If 35mm equivalent is one of your most popularly used focal length for any photography that you do, this Olympus 17 f1.2 lens is the best lens that you can get for micro four thirds. If 35mm equivalent focal length is something that you use a lot in your photography, it is a no-brainer to aim for this lens because the Olympus 17 f1.2 Pro is the best 35mm equivalent that the micro four thirds has to offer at this point. It has all the Pro features, it is fully weather sealed, it has the brightest aperture f1.2, the autofocus is extremely fast, and it gives you the best possible image quality that this focal length has to offer. If you are a professional photographer looking to get the best out of the 35 equivalent focal length, this should be the lens that you use. Reason number two, the f1.2 bright aperture. There are some undeniable advantages of having an extremely wide aperture of f1.2 when you're shooting with a micro four thirds system. Knowing that the micro four thirds do not particularly excel when it comes to extremely high ISO shooting, so in extremely low light condition where flash photography is not allowed, having a bright aperture lens will help you not to raise the ISO numbers to extreme levels where the high ISO noise will start to creep in and destroy the image. Now, having an f1.2 over f1.8 or f2.8 lenses will give you the extra headroom to work with. Instead of, say, using ISO 6004 or 3200, you may get away with ISO 1006. That itself will allow you to manage your image quality, and if you are shooting for a client or if you really want that to push that camera to the extra further mile, the f1.2 makes a lot of sense. If you are one of those photographers who are very anal about that tiny little grain of high ISO noise, Having that one-stop advantage over f1.8 using f1.2 wide open, you can get away with much lower ISO, and this will give you the best possible image quality for your Micro Four Thirds system. And yes, being able to shoot extremely sharp images even at wide open f1.2, we do not have to stop down the lens. The lens is already so sharp and we can just shoot wide open all the way. So ask yourself, do you shoot a lot of low light? Are you the one who shoot in extremely dark conditions all the time? Because if you do, then the f1.2 is seriously a lens that will give you that extra advantage over any other lenses available. Reason number 3 to get the Olympus 17 F1.2 Pro is feathered bokeh. Now before we go on further, I want to clarify what bokeh means. Many people are confused between shallow depth of field and bokeh. When we talk about that blurry background effect, right, like what you see in my background now, the correct phrase to describe that is shallow depth of field. Now bokeh is not referring to the amount of blur. There is no quantity in bokeh. More bokeh doesn't mean that the background is blurrier. Bokeh itself is a Japanese word. It's popularized by JOHNSTON from the Online Photographer, and when bokeh is used in photography language, it simply refers to the quality of the blur. Right? When we look at the shallow depth of field, the blurry parts of the background, the quality of that is bokeh. Now Olympus claims that they have perfected or they have created a very pleasant looking feathered bokeh. How do we judge the quality of the blur? What is defined as good bokeh? Basically it means that the background shouldn't be busy, it shouldn't be distracting, and the bokeh should be as smooth as possible. Having that creamy, smooth looking out of focus area is something that a lot of photographers want. This will create a better separation of the main subject in focus, which is sharp, from the blurry, smooth background. It is very hard for me to describe what a feathered bokeh looks like. I don't really know how it is or how it's different from normal looking bokeh. It is something that Olympus came up with, but I can see the difference. The images from the f1.2 wide open lenses from the Olympus 17, if you compare it to any other lenses, even the 17 1.8, it looks a lot more three-dimensional and the separation is more pleasant looking. And again, may I remind you that if you are getting the f1.2 lenses in hopes of getting as much blur background or shallow depth of field as possible, then you are looking into the wrong system. Of course, the full frame system or the medium format system will give you much shallow depth of field to work with. If that's your goal in photography, to create as blur background as possible, then Micro Four Thirds system is not for you. To help blur the background a little bit more, but more importantly, you get that feathered bokeh look or much smoother, blurrier background. The feather bokeh is what separates the Olympus 17 F1.2 Pro from other alternatives, including the Sigma 16 F1.4 and the Panasonic 15 F1.7. Both lenses are great lenses. I have reviewed the Sigma 16 F1.4 and the Panasonic 15 F1.7 before in my blog, if you can find the links in my articles previously. I've reviewed those lenses before I became an Olympus visionary. I love both lenses, but I have to admit they don't have that feathered bokeh, and that feathered bokeh is what separates the Olympus 17 F1.2 and it puts it in a different category altogether. Reason number 4 to get the 17 f1.2 Pro lens is having the best possible image quality that an Olympus lens has to offer. Being a pro-grade lens, Olympus doesn't skim any of the great ingredients when they make this lens. The lens is already so sharp wide open it can resolve excellent amount of resolution, and it has plenty of contrast. Yes, of course the lens is a little bit larger and heavier in comparison to the f1.8 lenses, but this is a no compromise lens. Olympus puts the best of the best in the f1.2 Pro lens. Of course, reason number 5, the f1.2 17mm Olympus lens is fully weather sealed. If you are a working professional like me, sometimes I do shoot in harsh conditions. It rains a lot in Malaysia, so having a lens that is weather sealed inspires confidence. I can continue shooting for my client without worrying about the rain destroying my camera and lens. Of course, be sure to pair the 17 f1.2 Pro with a weather-sealed Olympus OMD body if you want to use this lens in harsh shooting environments. If you are a street photographer and you need your camera and lenses to be as small and as compact as possible, then of course the 17 f1.8 is a better choice. That lens is so much smaller and lighter, and honestly if you shoot street out in the open, the f1.2 doesn't make much of a difference, especially a lot of photographers will go to f4 or f5.6 to get everything out of focus. However, for those who actually complain that the 17 f1.2 is ridiculously large, well, look at it this way. Olympus has released the 12-40 f2.8 Pro lens, which is about the same size of the 17 f1.2 Pro. And the 12-40 lens is slightly larger and definitely slightly heavier than this lens. The 12-40 lens is designed to match the OMD camera perfectly, giving you that perfect handling. It is not front heavy, it just fits the camera and gives you that nice balance. Therefore, the Pro lenses, especially the 17 f1.2 Pro, being slightly smaller and slightly lighter than the 12-40 f2.8 Pro lens, it actually balances really well if you are using the OMD cameras such as this EM1 Mark II. Yes, in an ideal world, we want all the cameras and lenses to be as tiny as possible, but hey, this is f1.2. How the hell can we make the f1.2 so small? It doesn't make sense, right? We can make an f1.8 lens small. It is impossible to make the f1.2 lens any smaller than this without severe compromises. And I'll have the lens to be this size, which is perfect for handling. It is of course not small, but I get the best image quality, I get feathered bokeh, I get weathered sealing, I get the best from Olympus. I guess we just cannot have everything at this point, and we have to pick and choose wisely what we want from the cameras and lenses. But hey, we have options, right? And options are always good. If you are a pro photographer shooting with micro four thirds system and you use 35mm equivalent lens a lot in your shooting and you intend to deliver the best possible results for your clients, I don't see any other alternatives. The Olympus 17 f1.2 Pro is your best lens to use. And I can guarantee you that the extra weight and extra bulk of the lens is worth the amazing image quality that you get, the super sharp image wide open, the extra wide f1.2 aperture, and of course the feathered bokeh. That's all I have to share about the Olympus 17 f1.2 Pro. Do you have the lens yourself? I would love to hear your stories and your experience using the lens. Please leave your feedback in the comments below. If you have liked watching this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I will definitely see you again in the next video. Until then, please go out and take more photographs. Bye-bye.